Hello and welcome to Women's Biz Tribe Success Summit. To those of you who are just tuning in, welcome, big welcome. Oh my goodness, we've just finished with Dr. Adama, and whoa, what a powerhouse, absolute powerhouse. And that's it. There's just speaker after speaker after speaker who is just inspiring us just to believe in the power of our voice, believe in the power of the person we were born to be, actually just rising up together, being surrounded by a community, a network of women globally, of which you're now part of, complimentary from just being a delegate at this summit. You're now a member of Women's Biz Tribe. And I tell you what, just if you haven't been surrounded by a nest, a network, a group of people who just went, you know what, sister, you're born for a reason. Just embrace who you are. Oh my goodness, now is your time to shine. Anyway, let me just introduce you to this amazing lady who you can see in front of you now. Her name is Patricia Jo Grover. She is the CEO of patriciajogrover.com, which is a complete platform that she created as a parent company of the Rise Above show and podcast, of which I've been on, and which so many beautiful, awesome people from around the world have been on. She's all about empowerment. She has the Empowerment Network and Mastermind group. She has Rise Above summits, ultimate achievement books. Oh my goodness, she's got Anthology books. She's got a Rise Above project. She's going to be sharing all things rising up, being amazing. She is definitely an unstoppable force, and is a woman who just inspires other people to achieve their goals. We call Patricia Jo Grover the goal achievement strategist, and that is exactly what she does for helping with people from around the world. So welcome to the summit, Patty.
Oh, I love you, Annie. I just have to share with everybody. I've been touching in, and you've been seeing, I've been showing up on Facebook, watching some of these speakers. And I want to tell you that I'm honored and blessed to be sharing the stage and being a speaker on your summit with these women. Annie, I not only consider you an esteemed colleague, but also a friend, because we've been working and doing different things together for a while now. And you have phenomenal other women leaders here. Globally, we're sharing and helping to bring people together. And that's what I kind of wanted to go, because the basis of your summit is to let women know that together we are able to rise together. And that's the thing. And that brings you back to what you said about me. Everything in me, what I do in my platform is all about rising above. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. Taking from where we're currently finding ourselves and getting to where we want to be. And so going back to what I do with my platform, it's designed to help people do that. And you talked about the different things I have, the show, which is also a podcast, the summits that I do, and the Rise Above Academy, the different things. But, the whole thing is when I talk about taking people from where they are currently finding themselves to where they want to be, that's part of what I do for my B.L.I.S.S events. In my B.L.I.S.S events, I help people learn to believe in themselves, love themselves, identify what's holding them back, set free what no longer serves them, so that they can set course on achieving their dreams and goals. And, I'm finding that not only just women want these events, but there are men that are wanting them, but you can't, we can't call them a retreat for men. They got to be a workshop, the words we need to use, but we all need to have these. I walk my own talk daily. I really do. And that's what's helped me come back from, and I'll share that in a little bit, from, stuff that I've recently experienced, because we all know that life happens to every single one of us, whether we're ready for it or not. So, but every single one of us, and this is what things you're learning from this summit and attending and watching these different speakers, we all need to be encouraged. We all need to keep ourselves educated. We all need to be empowered in one way or another. And we have to learn to live being engaged in the present. so that we are able to live our life. And I say PJG style, purposefully, joyfully, and gratefully. And, going back to walking my own talk. And I'll share a little bit. Annie knows, but I'll share a little bit about my story and how I got to where I am, or what I am trying right now, because I feel like I've backslid, and I need to get to where I was, and determining where I was, so that I can go and continue on and go further with what I want to do with my life and business. So, I'll just start and give you a little bit of backstory. The childhood that I had was unlike most, and I won't go deeply into that, but I didn't really have much of a childhood. I never saw what a healthy, happy home environment was supposed to be. That affected me well into adulthood. So there were many things that happened, but just taking it from there, I had to go through, and I had 3 failed marriages that I had to go through. And then I finally took the time to learn to know, like, trust, and ultimately love myself. And I teach people how to be able to do that. But it took me 9 years of really deep diving into myself and learning my own strengths, what my boundaries were. Because if we don't know what our boundaries are, ladies, if we don't know what they are, somebody's going to cross over that boundary, and we are going to be deeply hurt in one way or another, because we didn't even know what that was, to what to set. And that's something, we're not doing ourselves justice if we don't know what our boundaries are, if we don't think about that and set them ahead of time. But, having these things, getting to know ourselves, our own strengths, our own weaknesses, and I do SWOT analysis, and I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with that. But if you're not, those are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. And really knowing where they lie make a big difference, because then you know where you need to get and do the deeper work on yourself to be able to get where you want to be. And so it's all taking a step. We got to take a step back in order to forge into our future. And I really talk about that a lot in what I do in the work with the clients that I work with. So I went through all the difficulties, then had to take that time to learn to know, like, love, and trust myself. And, to do that, then I started developing better, healthier relationships, stronger and different businesses that I created and grew and sold for money. Those types of things really make a difference. And the more that you can do, and those little wins that you have, you become more empowered. And then all of a sudden you're standing straighter. You say, bring it on. This gives you that self-confidence and self-esteem. Those little wins help bolster that, to be able to help you. And then next thing you know, you're taking on bigger things, and you don't get so overwhelmed. Once you can learn to have, that you have the capability. So teaching people that not only are you worthy, but you are capable of, and Annie and I use these words a lot together, having more, being more, doing more, earning more, because you are, it's just finding the ways for you to be able to get there. Now, with my book, Living Outside the Box, and I use that because it's the box that we put ourselves in. We all have those limiting beliefs, those belief windows we look out of. So thinking of that, living outside the box, that box that we put ourselves in, or we allow other people to put us in. So it's all about finding the ways to get past those limiting beliefs, those self-doubts, and we all have them. Those backseat drivers, those naysayers, we all have them. And, it's finding a way to balance those. I go back to, and this is something I talk about it a lot. Life happens to every single one of us, whether we're ready for it or not. And so let me take, and using myself again as an example, the next, where I had been, I got to where I was, and I started doing, my show, my summits, and all of this. And I was really feeling of getting an understanding of who I was and how powerful that is to yourself when you know who you are and what you're capable of. And I was really making a difference in people's lives globally, women specifically. But then, you know what happened, and Annie knows this, and I'll share it with you, ladies. And I had told you I'd already been married and divorced 3 times. I had to kiss a lot of toads to find this prince, and I thought this man was going to be with me the rest of my life. And he had been diagnosed with mantle cell lymphoma, which was non-curable and reoccurring. And we had gotten him into a clinical trial at MD Anderson out in Houston, Texas. So we went through that struggle, went to Texas, and got him, into treatment, and everything was going good. We knew they said he only had 2 to 5 years to live. So we had decided that we were going to live every day as it was our last day together, living it to its fullest. And so we just got in that groove, not pretending like it wasn't there, but not having this over our heads and worrying about everything, little thing, a sniffle or whatever he might have gotten, that it was going to be over. So we got it to a point and he was in remission. Nothing was showing up that, there were any signs. And then he all of a sudden got sick, did home COVID tests and we didn't realize and didn't know until he got sick that COVID, the immunizations and boosters that he had been made not valid or whatever because of the cancer medications that he had been on, because he had been on maintenance meds and having to go once a quarter for infusions. But we didn't know that. But he ended up within on a Saturday, it was like February 25th, 26th, he got he did a home test on Saturday. It came for COVID. It came back negative. On Sunday, it came back positive. And then he contacted a teledoc and they sent him to have an monoclonal antibody infusion. He had that done, and that was on Tuesday. The rest of the day, Tuesday, it didn't really take on. But then on Wednesday, he started feeling better, and we thought, okay, things will be okay. We'll be okay, and go from there. And at the end of the day, Wednesday, he just got worse and worse. On Thursday, it just got worse and worse and worse throughout the day. And I said, I need to take you to the emergency room. And he said, no, let me try, making it until tomorrow and then we can go. But we only made it until 3:00 on Friday, March 4th, 3:00 in the morning. And he said, Patty, I've got to go. I've got to go. By that time, his legs were so weak, but he was able to walk, but still he had a tremendous headache. His eyes were sensitive to light. He was nauseous. And of course, this was during COVID. But anyway, I drove him to the hospital, and I pulled up to the emergency room and had to go, get the wheelchair and bring it back to the car. And so it wasn't till that point I was opening the car door to get him out that somebody came out to help. And then they did, and they sent me to park the car. And then I went and parked the car. And by the time I got back inside, they had already registered and were checking him in, and they were ready to take him through security and to take him upstairs. So he had a mask on, and I had to wear a mask again because COVID. And he had his beanie. He had a Patriots football beanie down over his eyes because they were so sensitive to light. And I had to leave him. I had to leave the love of my life at the hospital. I had to give him a kiss through a mask, and I'm surprised I'm not bawling right now, but I had to leave him there. By the time I turned around and got outside the door at the hospital, I was just bawling. I was bawling my eyes out because, that loss, automatic. It's amazing a lot of people know what COVID has done, but with this. So this was just the start of the most recent thing that I'm coming back from. And that's why I'm sharing this with you so that was the last time I gave him a kiss and he was conscious. So that was Friday, March 4th. So he stayed at the hospital, and they had him in a room outside the emergency room for 2.5 days before they got him into a room. But so that was Friday. Saturday, I talked with him on the phone. I was able to talk with him on his cell phone, and he says, "Come get me. I don't want to be here. I'm done. I've had enough." And of course I couldn't. That was horrible. I was here alone. And then that was Saturday. Then on Sunday, another conversation. He said the same thing, but one of my daughters was here with me then. But again, at that point, again, his legs were so weak, he couldn't get out of bed. They had, they had to catheterize him because of course he couldn't get up. By Sunday, his right arm and hand went paralyzed. He couldn't move it. Then it went to his left arm and hand, and then it went to his throat. He was no longer able to swallow, spit. They had to intubate him. And then he lost his eyesight. So here he is in the hospital, laying in a hospital bed. He can't move. He can't talk. He can't see. And it was just the most horrible thing, not being able to be there with him. And just that experience, I couldn't sleep. I was having nightmares just thinking about being buried alive. That's all these things. And I'm thinking, that's the love of my life, laying there, and there's nothing that I can do. And all this stuff, and asking the hospital this and that and everything. But then within like the 4th day, then they said that they thought he was having seizures. And then he went into a coma. The last time that I saw my husband and physically able to see him and give him a kiss was at the hospital, leaving him there as he was going through security and going into the hospital. He was at that hospital for a week and a half before they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. Did all these different tests and everything. I did and it's all available on his a blog that I kept specifically about his health journey. But he was in this hospital for a week and a half, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. Then they allowed for myself and my 2 daughters to go in and spend an hour with him before they had to life flight him to a hospital in Boston, and that was Mass General. So, and those are where there's all the doctors from Harvard Medical School trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And of course, they wouldn't do the same. They wouldn't use the results from the tests that had been done where we are in Maine. So they had to do all the tests all over again. Again, he's still in a coma, everything. And it was another almost week and a half before I had to decide, because I had promised him, and we had both promised each other, that if either one of us ever had to be put on life support, that we wouldn't make each other do that. We would choose to pull the plug, and we made each other promise that. And ladies, no matter how much it seems that it's easy to make that promise because you love someone and you would want them to do the same thing for you, it's not. It's not easy being the one to make that decision. It was March 23rd that happened. I had to pull the plug, and the way that it has affected me emotionally and otherwise, losing that spouse, that other person, that other half of you, when you're doing things, even just things around the house, who does, and some families do, somebody does the inside stuff, somebody does the outside stuff. Well, now we also have here, besides the business that I have with my coaching, speaking, and everything, we also have an 18-hole disc golf course, frisbee disc golf course, that we own and operate. So right here on my own property, we have that. So it's open 7 days a week. So all the things that he was doing for that now fall on my plate. And it's something that I don't want to give up because he loves so much and we love the property so much and trying to keep everything. So for me, and the why I'm sharing this is because, oh, ladies, no matter how much you think you are ready for something and you can plan for it, so we planned for losing him to cancer, to the mantle cell lymphoma. But this I feel like, and how I explain it to people, I feel like I was sideswiped. So my car was sideswiped. It made it roll over in a ditch and roll over a few times, and then was left spinning on the roof, round in circles. And now it just feels like it's coming to the spinning is ending, and I'm left in the car, hanging upside down with a seatbelt still on, battered and bruised, and trying to figure out what's next. Where do I go from here? And so I share this story because, again, life happens to every single one of us, whether we're ready for it or not. And so many of us have been affected by COVID, with our lives and businesses, and many people have lost loved ones. And, and then some is businesses have closed. They've had, and it may have been one of you, or many of you have either lost the business that you once had and now have had to find another type of employment or start another business. And we've all had to, with our businesses, have to shift and pivot because of what COVID has brought to us, and the cards that we were dealt with this. So what I'm saying is I walk my own talk every day, because we all have to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off and learn to take that next step. And that's what I'm doing here with you ladies. It really is, because it's been a while since I've actually, been out and trying to give to others, because my cup has been, and my glass has been so empty that I haven't had enough in me to pour back out. But I'm inching back to that because of the fact that when I give of my time and my talents, and when I serve, and that's what I feel I do. When I serve, it helps me feel better. It gives me that. I know I have no ands, ifs, or buts. I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I'm doing what God intended for me to be doing. Helping women to be able to move forward in a positive direction of their lives, to build better lives for themselves and for their children. The title of the book is The Goal Achievement Strategist Guide to Reaching Your Full Potential and Living Outside the Box. But what I'm saying with your full potential, and I don't want people to think that I'm coming across as I'm any better than anyone else. But I want everybody to realize you are your own worst critic. You're your own worst enemy. You're the one that's holding yourself back. Your full potential is different than anyone else that's watching this video. This event. Your full potential is different than my full potential. My full potential is different than yours. But you need to have a curiosity that's greater than your fears. You have to have that passion, because you have to be curious. Then, and I teach people how to do that. And then you also have to have courage, because you need to have the courage to take those steps. I teach people how to put together plans and make plans to get from where they're currently finding themselves to where they want to be. So, but you have to have the courage. Making the plans is one thing, but then you have to have the courage to actually take those steps and work that plan. Then the next thing comes to is consistency, because guess what? If we're not consistent and keep doing those same things to build upon those steps, and it's like steps that you get from one point to the next. And we know to get from point A to point B, there's not a straight line. We're talking whirly gigs, roundabouts, because you're driving down the road. Oh, they're doing construction. You got to take a detour. Same thing when we're trying to achieve dreams and goals. There's always something. Life happens to every single one of us, whether we're ready for it or not. So having that fortitude to stick to everything that we're trying to do. And then there's fears. And I won't say I don't fear anything, because I do. I will boldly confess, that I've had fears of, geez, what, coming back from all this, I've said I've kind of like taken a sabbatical, um, what do I want to do? How much more do I want to put in for, myself? How much more growth do I want to have, in my business? Do I want to be, living out of a suitcase and traveling all over the world? Well, yeah, and thank goodness, again, COVID has made a difference, because I want to continue to, because I already have been working with people globally. And I want to continue to do that, because every single one of us need, again, to be empowered, educated, and encouraged to be able to move forward. And sometimes that connection comes from, you might be more connected to Annie and her personality. You may be more connected to me, or there's many other wonderful speakers and presenters that are on this summit. But it's who you connect with and feel that you have, the trust and faith and belief in, so that you are able to have that and learn to get that for yourself. So, but the fears, there's fears of failure. There's fears of, so many. I mean, I'm sure lots of you guys can think of things that you are afraid of. Some people are afraid of success. What is it, what it's going to do, how's it going to change their lives? So for me, again, I don't want to be living out of a suitcase and go hotel to hotel and barely get unpacked. I know that's going back to knowing yourself and your boundaries. I'm happy, more than happy, to be able to sit right here in my office and work with people all over the globe. And I think that is as effective, and it's a blessing for us, for people like myself who want to do that. Yes, hey, traveling on a monthly or quarterly basis to do something bigger is fantastic. But my regular daily life, I don't want to be living out of that suitcase. So going back to, having to take this sabbatical and taking that step back, for me, I just have gone back to the basics, back to the grassroots of, I'm using myself as a client. Everything that I do with my clients, I have been starting to do with myself, going back and rebuilding and doing those things, those exercises that I work with the clients, and the difference that it makes. So, again, walking my own talk, and I feel so, I'm blessed. I feel that I'm blessed to have learned what I have learned through my life experiences, because it is, we are all who we are because of what we have been through. Sometimes I look at God and I say, oh, what were you thinking? What, why? But you can't spend all of your energy questioning. We need to look, trying to see, because a lot of things I talk about is, and teach people is, you can't focus on the past. It's like driving down the road. You need to be looking out your windshield, not out your rearview mirror, because if you're looking out your rearview mirror, before you know, you're going to smash into something. That's the whole thing. We need to take what has happened to us in our past, and even what I've just recently, and I'm still really going through with the passing of my husband, but I need to take that and find the best little pieces from that, the biggest ahas, and learning things, and be able to, those lessons, learn from those lessons. Something I share, and many of you, if you've been a guest on the show, and I hope that I'm gonna start recording more episodes. So, but I have a little segment of the show. This Grammy doesn't knit, she cliches, And you know something, why I say those cliches, those little words of wisdom that everyone has heard, you know, and it could be something really simple, like, you know, God doesn't give you any more than you can handle, you know, um, just even little tidbits like that, because there is so much wisdom. And why are those old adages repeated and repeated and repeated, those wives' tales? So think about that. Those women really knew what they were talking about, right? You know, so, oh my goodness. So I really want to be able to say, you know, Annie, again, you're just like a sister. I feel like you're a sister to me. And we do so much of the same thing. And, you know, I just want to be able to share. Can I share a few little things with people, kind of like as a special gift for them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still feeling teary and emotional just listening to you. So
Well, but this is for me too. And I'm you know, it's there, but I'm holding back. But I want to share some things to help everyone to be able to what I do to help myself. Okay. And I want to share this. And then another something special. So I do with clients, I do a work. Have you ever heard, you know, what's two of the most powerful words that can start something to help yourself today, tomorrow, the next day? What are those two most powerful words that can give you that stern backbone and that strength? What do you think they are?
I can.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Exactly. All right. But so I am. How we talk to ourselves is the most important thing, and the biggest present gift that we can give ourselves, right? So I created my own little cheat sheet that I will go and I will look in the mirror, and I'll do this. I'll do some here with you guys, but then I want everybody to do this with me. And I want you to do this assignment. So and I go through the alphabet, and I find a positive letter, you know, positive word to use for each letter. And so I have a cheat sheet, and I'll do this, and I'll look in the mirror every day to do this. So I'm going to do this with you right now. Okay, so I won't go through the whole alphabet, but I'll just do this, and then I'll have you do it, Annie, with me, because you're right here. I am articulating. I am activating. I am achieving. I am bold. I am brilliant. I am beautiful. I am curious. I am courageous. I am consistent. So going through the alphabet and doing this. So Annie, let's have you do an ABC. Let's have you do an A, a B, and a C.
Okay. I am able. I am bold. I am contagious. I am deliberate. Yes, exactly.
Yes,
It suddenly
right.
you apply it to your own context, and it might even be silly, and it might even, you know, just be like, yeah, what's my little something? But yeah,
Exactly.
really
So what gets tricky is when you get to your X's, Y's, and Z's. So here's a little, so helping people, because some people, if you give them an assignment, if they start questioning stuff, then they stop doing the work. But so I am exuberant. So you kind of, you know, use the little thing.
Exactly.
I am ecstatic. I am exploring the possibilities. So that's the X.
Yeah.
And, you know, so when I say the Y, I am your coach or consultant. You know, I am your mentor and friend. I am your goal achievement strategist. You know, so looking at, you know, those things, and just, you know, don't let the little things stand in the way. Look past that. You know, you are worthy. You are capable of Annie, we can say it together, having more, being more, doing more, and earning more. You ladies are. So Oh, I was just going to say, go ahead and go to my website. We have it right here, patriciajogrover.com. I have taken a break, so things might. I need to tweak my website right now, but go on there, send me a message if you want to chat about maybe being a guest on my show, if you're interested in being on one of the next summits I have coming up, or if you really want to sit down and have a conversation and find out how I can help you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Patty. Oh my goodness, we are going to have to go to our next speaker, but wow, I just seriously.
Well, give
give
me a hug. I can use this is
just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, we can't even go there because I'll just cry. But
right.
I just want to go, you know what? Yeah, that's right. You have been robbed. You've been robbed too early, even when you're expecting something, and with your husband's your illness, when you that feeling of being sideswiped, that's it. You have, and you're still in shock and you're still processing, and I just honor your ability to come onto our summit and to be sharing with us globally at a time that you're just still, you're still hanging upside down in that car seat. You're trying to work out, who is Patty now? What does my life look like now? What does this all mean? And you know what? I just love that, and I honor that, because this is the way we need to be. We need to actually be raw, and we need to be sharing things. And some days you're just like total powerhouses. And we heard Dr. Adama, the previous speaker, and who's just on fire in the moment, burning. And those moments, I tell you what, seize every one of them, and even know when you're in it, oh my gosh, I'm just going to keep this, because the energy is insane. And then life will also happen unexpectedly, and you can be robbed and sideswiped and this and that, but you still will be okay, and you will push on, and you'll emerge as a whole, a new version of yourself, and then starting that next chapter, whether you ask for that chapter or not. But it will still be good. It will still be glorious. You're still amazing. You're still empowered, and it makes you adapt to those chapters of, that's right, it's the next stage where I thought I was heading. Am I happy now to be living in a suitcase or doing this or doing that? Some of your choices will change, and that's okay, because we need to constantly be adapting to the future that we are inheriting and that we are now living in, rather than what worked before. And so I just love your ability to be able to share that the stage that you're in now, just so openly and honestly, because I know that so many people around the globe will be, relating to that, because we're not always buzzy. We're not always doing great. We're often just going, oh my God, how did that happen? I don't even like being where I am at the moment. What is next? And it's okay to just go, you know what, at the moment, I just need to breathe. I just need to get up every day. I need to reassess where I'm at. I need to let people love me, and to accept that love and support, even if it's virtual hugs. And just keep showing up. And I think you're absolutely amazing. I love you so, so, so much. And anyway, we'll have to keep moving on. I'll be in touch with you again very soon. And thank you for being so generous. Everyone, pattyjogrover.com. Reach out to her. Take up her opportunity. She's always incredibly generous with what she has available to you. Definitely, if you're wanting to be on a show, once Patty gets things going again, I've been on her show a number of times. It's just such a blessing. It's such a blessing to be in her community. You will just be, it's just a great choice. It's a great choice to do anything with Patty. So lots of love to you. And I will talk to all of you again very, very in our next second. We are moving on to Mariana Cadori. We're just going to suddenly go to Italy with Mariana, and change gears again. And blessings to you all.